friends, my name is Rebecca Barbish Levinson and I am a Pepco victim. I am here today with the Wizard of Fraud himself to see if he has any answers for why Pepco is now claiming that it needs to maintain the rates that were just vacated, which means they no longer exist. They're claiming poverty and customer confusion if they refund us for the money they've been overcharging us since January 1st, 2025. So that's actually illegal and unlawful under DC law. But of course, nobody in DC government will enforce the law because they're all friends with the Wizard of Fraud. So just as a reminder, over here, we will have this reading validation. This is from the Itron meter data management system, which is the system that Pepco uses for its billing. And again, reading validation is an essential component of meter data management. The goal is to achieve a high degree of confidence that meter data accurately reflects actual energy usage. And if you recall, all of the data that Pepco gave me for my account from July 1st, 2023 through August 2025 when it produced it, all of it was not validated. Now that means it is unreliable data that cannot support billing, load research, forecasting, planning, or asset analysis. So, Pepco's rate increases are based on anticipated future spends. It's this crazy thing that the commission did. It was, I think, 2021 and 2022 were the pilot years of the program, where they let Pepco estimate how much usage there would be in the District of Columbia and justify that for capital expenditures for how much they had to build. Now that pilot program ended up with, I believe it was $94 million in surplus that Pepco never actually spent, and just went on to Pepco's profits for Exelon. And then on top of all that, they got 9.5% rate of return on the money they didn't spend. And instead of, clearing the books, right, and refunding the District of Columbia's residents who paid that $100 million that Pepco didn't spend. So basically, we just handed all that money. Here you go, Exelon shareholders. I mean, why didn't I just give them the PIN to my ATM card? So now, I guess in 2024, instead of closing out that pilot program, what they actually did was they extended it. So Exelon didn't have to rectify its books, and they got a $123 million rate increase based on its failure to spend the $100 million in the first round. So now they're just like compounding that, right? And those rates were vacated, but it would be confusing to customers. And if Pepco gave us that money back, that's their argument, that they're poverty stricken. So let's talk about how poverty stricken Pepco actually is. So there are 919,000 customers approximately for Pepco, which is DC and Maryland. We are paying more profit per customer than anybody else in Exelon's $11 million customer base. Like, what are you even talking about? Now, I have not verified all of these numbers with precision. I do know that the Pepco is correct. I didn't do the math on the others because I'm just one person. I'm a customer, and there are people who are being paid lots of money to do this, and they're all working for the Wizard of Fraud to cover it up and raise our rates again. And now, this crazy Court of Appeals decision vacated the rates. Those don't exist anymore. They have to be rolled back. Like, there's no other answer. And now the commission's trying to jam through a new hearing. And guess what Pepco's going to do? They're going to use the inflated billing that they've been inflating these meter readings for since November I guess that's almost 18 months, right? November 2024. And now they're going to use those new rates in this, or those new inflated numbers in this new process in May when they have this hearing that they're excluding the public from unlawfully. And they're going to ram through more rate increases. And I guarantee you that's what's happening, because when I looked at my neighbor's numbers on the falsified meter readings that Pepco just gave her, everything went back to normal, like within 2 days of the Court of Appeals issuing its decision on March 6th, 5th, March 5th of this year. So, get this. In 2023, Pepco alone had a $306 million net income. That was when it was doing this pilot program. Then the year that it said that, oh, we have all these new capital expenditures, but we didn't spend that $100 million that we were paid for, and we're just going to pay it out in profits. Guess what? In 2024, oh my gosh, there was like an $84 million increase in profits. Net income in 1 year. That's a 27% increase. I think it accounted for 66% of Exelon's net profit increase that year. And we're like, is it 9% of the customer base or 11%? I know these things because I've spent so much time on this, but it's worse even in DC than it is in Maryland, because we only have 350,000 people. And that 350,000 people paid for that $100 million in capital expenditures that weren't ever spent and got paid out to Exelon's customers, or shareholders. So like, it's April 5th, 2026. It's Easter. I'm a customer. I'm sitting here with the Wizard of Fraud, who I'm guessing does not have any answers. Nothing, Wiz? So, I hope that this video was entertaining enough that somebody's paying attention, because if we don't stop it, it's never going to stop. And we can stop it. We just have to work together. Because, I don't know whether it's so-called gaslighting when the electric company's doing it to you, but it's literal torture, and I have devoted my life to this. It's an uncompensated full-time job, because unlike the Wizard of Fraud, I think that DC residents, Pepco customers everywhere, Exelon customers everywhere, and every person who has an electric meter should be able to know that what they're being billed for is accurate. I think that's a basic right. The Office of the People's Counsel knows that. They even argued it on the record before they sandbagged my case. So, it is time for me to go have a family gathering. And all I can think about is Pepco. So, it's, I'm glad everybody else is comfy at home, enjoying their illegal profits and earnings. And anyway, this is Rebecca Barbish Levinson reporting to you from the District of Fraud.